There we go. It worked. It worked this time. Yes. Here we are. We're ready. And let's bring this guy on straight away. Here he is. Statsman, the Ginga Stinger, the man with all the facts. Here he is. Hello.
Too many facts. I think my head's going to pop.
Do you ever get brain fog when somebody asks you something and you're sitting there and you're thinking, who is that that's asking the question? You're trying to remember their name. And you're thinking, I know the answer to the question they're asking, but I want to know who's asking it first. And it happens more and more often. And, you get it whenever you're out somewhere and somebody will turn around to you and say, do me a favor. Do you know who that is? And I go, why? And they look and they say, I want to know what I'm supposed to be calling them. And I go, it'll cost you a $5. No, and then you just turn around to the person and say, he didn't know your name. And I'm just honest. I'm just honest. I just turn around and I say, what's your name again? I said, it's not that I've forgotten you. I know your face, but what can I say? And if you want to have a go at me, call me.
I was going to say it could be age, but I did have to ask someone's name again this morning. Sorry, what did you say your name was again for the third time?
It's difficult, when you meet somebody for the first time, it's difficult. Anyway, okay, we do know that there are a lot of things that are going the wrong way. So Keir Starmer's doing his usual bit and doubling down on everything and then naming everybody that disagrees with him far right, a Nazi. But anyway, here's something for everybody. We're going to celebrate George Floyd. Check this out.
I wondered where that was going. If it's good enough for the Sikhs, it's good enough for us. Do you know what I mean?
It's absolutely.
I'm not saying I'd have a urinate on his grave. Don't even know where he's buried, so that'd be impossible.
Well, if everybody can see that, they know what it's saying. Remember now, this is an over 18s program. If you don't like it, switch off. It's as simple as that.
Fentanyl Floyd, who armed robbery on a pregnant woman's stomach with a gun. That guy.
That's the one. That's the one. That's the guy. That's the guy.
Sadly missed.
Yeah. Anyway, okay. A guy in his house created an image on the floor. His animals, this is the first time his animals have seen it. This was the reaction of the cat.
A hole.
Well,
yeah, the cat will jump out of its skin, the dog will just walk over it.
Takes it out on the dog. Takes it out.
I've seen these on the street, and the cats are the ones who don't want to know, but the dogs just walk over it and go,
"Oh my god!"
Just not bothered.
and
anyway, you think they're falling, but they're not.
I know.
It's like when you go on VR, the virtual reality stuff.
Yeah.
And you go down a hill, and your stomach goes. You think you're actually on a roller coaster, but you're not. You're just sat on a chair. It's all in the mind, isn't it? It's all a visual thing. It must be.
Indeed, we see you. We see.
You see it. You feel it. Well, actually.
Well, anyway, okay. We had a comment from one of our regular viewers. Okay, and he'd been listening in, and he said there's nothing wrong with his verticals. I'm not going to name the guy. I just put no comment. No comment. Okay. And also, because some people think that we're a little bit biased towards showing things that, happen to the ladies.
I thought you were going to say biased to trying to save the country. I was going to say.
No.
Wow.
Biased to the ladies. Well, here's a series of mishaps
You said we're biased. It's you anyway. Knew you were going to double down. I mean, to be fair to some of them, mate, I've probably ended up in them predicaments myself.
We include some of the men.
Yeah, we know which way this is going.
There you go. Yeah.
Yeah, that's me. Ooh.
Oh, that's a wedge.
They've got to be drunk half of these people to try half this stuff.
I just cannot believe what I'm seeing, you know. And anyway, okay, I'm going to let everybody know, right, again, about what we think about the left. And I think they know that they're losing. So I want to get this across again.
The left knows that they are demographically doomed forever. So the only thing that they can do, number one, is seize on your kids, seize on the family relationship, and use something there to try to inject their minds with the woke mind virus, toxic ideology, or to add in people from across the world who don't share the same common belief system, which encourages mass migration of all types into the country.
There you go. I don't make any apologies for repeating that because I keep on thinking that is exactly what is happening in this country.
You missed a few bits. I don't know, like treating the people who notice the problem as second-class citizens, letting them get beaten up in the street by, I don't know, protesters or even the police.
Well, funny you should say that. Young Bob. Tell us who Young Bob is.
Young Bob started out I think he was Speaker's Corner, wasn't he? And he was just having debates with people, and he's got rather political since then.
Mm-hmm.
And he's been, he just goes around a lot of the events, he films a lot of stuff. I think he's with Restore, he was in Makerfield, and he's popped up somewhere today.
Well, and this is what happened to him.
This has got to stop, but it won't, will it?
There you go. Who are they? I recognize that ponytail-haired guy. Look at him. They're beating the living daylights out of him.
I think the ponytail guy's on. He's his cameraman, isn't he? So they've hit him, and it looks like they either had weapons or they've used their equipment to beat him with.
And they've stolen his stuff.
Oh my god.
Yeah. Apparently they came back and had him again.
And they just
Oh
stood
my
around
God.
and did nothing.
Yeah, and there's people filming it and laughing. Oh my God. Yeah, apparently there was a stand-up to racism protest. So, I mean, I can't say for certain, but it would appear some of them have probably come from that. You know, the lad just, all he does is he does what
He
Charlie
asks
Kirk does. He goes and
questions.
asks questions and tries to have civilized debates.
Conversations and stuff like that. Yeah.
But as we know, these leftists haven't got brain cells to have a debate, so they just resort to this.
Well,
I mean, looking at this, mate, doesn't fill me with hope. If this is allowed to continue, which it will be, then we're going to hell in a handbasket, mate, no matter who wins an election. Because, I don't know. I mean, we've got to give it a chance. We've got to try and turn things around peacefully, if possible.
yeah.
But you really think the establishment and the left are going to let us have free reign if we have gone into power? It's not happening, is it, mate? So there's going to be plenty more of this to come. So sadly, we've got to find a way to stop it.
Well, here's
Right.
another.
Sorry, before we go, he's all right. He's got a couple of marks on his face. Apparently, they came back again, had another go and smashed up some of his stuff.
I know, and it's expensive stuff, you know. It's expensive stuff. You know, I mean, even the tripods, they're expensive. They really are. They're not cheap, you know, especially the good ones.
He looks okay. I think he's been in the hospital. He's got a couple of marks on his face. Fair play to him. He took it well. So, as we need to do. So, everyone go and follow Young Bob.
Yeah,
Give
he's a
him the
good lad.
support you need. He's probably going to need some security if he's going to carry on doing this.
Yeah,
But
that's
everyone
what I
get
think.
behind him, starts sharing his stuff.
Yep, indeed.
Just make it have the opposite effect that they actually wanted. Do you know what I mean?
Okay, well, here's Henry Wright. How can you? What a great name.
His name's
Henry-
Frank. You got this wrong last
Is
time.
it? Did I? It's Frank. You know, probably when I meet him one day, I'm going to say, "Hello, Henry." He's going to go, "It's Frank," and I'm going to go.
Because we were talking about Henry Novak a lot on the other.
That's
cast when
right.
we showed
That's
the
right.
video.
Okay, well, here's Frank Wright on the freedom of speech, and I do like the way this guy articulates his concerns.
That is a deeply unstable political strategy. You're effectively saying, we have made your life miserable. But if you name it, not even if you complain about it, if you just state the facts, if you just state the obvious and point to reality, we may lock you up for doing that. So what they're saying to you is basically suffer and die in silence or else. And as things get worse for everyone, as people are increasingly radicalized by their grocery bills, how are you going to lock everyone up for being incensed at being unable to afford to even live when they're desperately trying to work to stay alive? You can't do this. It's unstable. And furthermore, like I said, every act that they're taking to do this, censorship, speech crimes, locking people up, it's ultimately an act of self-harm that further delegitimizes their power. And I would add that the state is no longer legitimate, which is becoming obvious to people because it doesn't discharge its duties.
Yep. Well, it's most certainly doesn't. And we'll be coming to that a little bit later on when we're talking about protecting the people. Okay.
I was going to say, I couldn't have put it any better myself. I literally couldn't.
That's great.
To be honest. He's got away with words. He does look like he should be flying a Spitfire in the 40s.
Indeed.
Yeah. Tally ho, Frank. Bombs
No,
away.
I
old
think
chap.
he looks like one of those guys out of an old Callan Bowser Creamline Toffee advert where they were in some, Colditz, a castle.
Come
And
on,
one of
old
them,
boy.
one of them came out. He'd been tortured, and he threw him in there. And he said, "How did you do?" He said, "I chewed a Callan Bowser Creamline Toffee throughout my whole hideous ordeal." And he said, "Did you tell him anything?" And he said, "Well, I did tell him that you might know something." The German guards come in and pounce on him.
To be fair, though, if someone's going to fly the Spitfire, I'd like it to be Frank.
Indeed. Or
To be
Henry.
Frank.
Or Henry. Okay, well, here's a little bit of philosophy for you. Dostoevsky and Kafka Truths. And it kind of follows on from what this guy was saying.
Dostoevsky said, "Perhaps it is better to suffer and know the truth than to be happy in a delusion."
Yeah, I agree.
But Franz Kafka said, "I would rather keep my illusions, for they are often kinder than the truth." So the question is, do you want the truth, or do you want the illusion?
Well, do you want the truth or do you want the illusion? Because, this guy Starmer, he's selling everybody an illusion. I mean, he's not telling the truth about things. Not at all.
I want the truth because, okay, you might feel happy in an illusion, but if, at the end of the day, it's not going to fix the actual truth.
No,
And
it
then
isn't.
The illusion's just a cover, and eventually it's going to get worse, and the illusion won't be there anymore, and then you're left with the problem. And you're going to have one hell of an illusion to literally forget about the breakdown of civilization. So, yeah, I'll have the truth, please, Bob.
Well, here's one part of the truth. And remember now, when it was explaining to the people that we actually curate a lot of information and a lot of videos that we see, which actually people might not have seen. And I bet you didn't know this. Watch this.
1 year, 84,000 Romanian nationals applied for university student loans in the UK. 84,000 from one country in 1 year. Did anyone notice? Did the alarm bells go off? Did anyone at the Home Office or the Department of Education look at the numbers and say, hold on a minute? But okay, here's where it gets even better. Are you ready for
Part
this?
2. All right. There's a lot of money, gone. A lot of money. And I'm going to follow up on what this guy has said. But 84,000 Romanian students applying for student loans.
Wait till he sees how many Indians are probably at it.
Well, okay. And, here's another, well, this is an American version of interracial adverts, and this is Rob Schneider. And the percentages are fairly similar over here. Now, people think, but listen to what he's got to say.
Percent of the American couples are interracial. 2%.
Right.
You look at the television commercials, 50% are interracial. Every commercial interracial. And there's only so many black actors. So my daughter says, like, hey, that's the same guy that was married to that other girl.
Yeah.
Same black actor. And I went like, why is that? And I went like, it's reparations.
You've got to see it. You've got to see it.
It's not just TV, is it? You look at everything, your local council, the government, your schools put out. So I seen one the other day for an event at a school or a local gathering. And considering the school's majority ethnic British, there was a lot of minorities on this poster, as if it was in London or something, this barbecue or this event or whatever.
Well,
I mean, you look at the books in school as well. Beautiful British names are becoming a thing of the past. Doesn't matter what your demographics of your school are. All the books are still rammed full of Abdul and Muhammad and Bilal. Makes it really hard to bloody pronounce them.
Well, people are getting the understanding now that enough is enough, and they're getting it. And
we've got to hurry up. Enough's been enough for a while now, mate.
Well, I think we're teetering. Okay, now here's Andrew Marr on Starmer, and I know who's he. Okay, he's got an inside track on a few things. Listen to what he's got to say, because he's saying that Starmer is resisting gravity, and he's coming down with a big bump. I think that's what he's meaning.
He probably could.
There we go.
I don't think it's going to be a one-off moment. I think he is fighting so incredibly hard. And, he's trying to resist gravity. And we love people trying to resist gravity. We applaud them, whether they are base jumpers or tightrope walkers or evil Knievel. We say, good on you. And then eventually, Nick, gravity wins. We don't quite know when gravity is going to win this time. Every resignation, every collapse is different. Liz Truss was different from Boris Johnson. Was different, of course, from Rishi Sunak. That was a general election. But elections aside, these things tend to come in stages. I just think this is absolutely it. And
how come Ed Miliband seems so secure with
Same
the extraordinary
interview.
amount of money and some of the questionable policies he seeks to endorse?
If you really had an honest conversation with Keir Starmer and said, what is your government about? What is it changing in the real world? He would say, we face a climate crisis. Net zero is something that nobody else will do. I will do. That is our industrial policy. That is absolutely central. But the other thing, of course, is that Ed Miliband is very, very close to Keir Starmer. They're neighbours. They helped each other in their political careers, and there is a kind of bond of closeness. Now, I'm told that Ed Miliband's people are actually helping Andy Burnham at the moment in Makerfield, so don't overdo that. But, there is a bond there. And even in private, Ed Miliband has been much more supportive of Keir Starmer than you would expect.
Okay, so you can see that he's got a few friends. There is, the rumors are out that Yvette Cooper is looking to jump ship.
It's just meaningless now. Who jumps and who jumps back on and who does what and who shuffles who where. Sorry, I picked up on one thing where he was comparing all the stuff. Liz Truss was taken out by the establishment, right, for one thing. Starmer's not been taken out by the establishment for anything, has he? So that tells me the establishment are happy with him towing the line for the narrative.
Yeah.
So there you go. So we know who's who, don't we?
Well, we're going to quickly just have a quick chat about these things that are going on with him and also what's going on with Andy Burnham. And then we're going to go on to the Online Safety Act, which is something that's very dear to your heart, and you've got a lot to talk about on that. But here's, before you do, We're
doing it again, but we'll come back to that in a minute. But before you do, go on then.
Do. Where's Streeting talking about do? Where's Streeting on Starmer?
Palmer says he takes responsibility. I don't think he does, actually. I don't think he's taken responsibility or even acknowledged what happened to good Labour people who lost their seats in May. And I don't think he has taken responsibility for gripping this defence investment plan. When you've got a defence secretary saying that the Chancellor is unwilling to fund it and the Prime Minister is unable to effectively lead, it underscores the case for change and change quickly, because we can't go through any more of this inertia. We don't have time to waste. I just urge my colleagues to wake up and smell the coffee if they haven't already, to take really seriously what John Healey and Al Carnes have said about the defence of our country, and to understand that at the heart of these challenges is poor leadership.
Do you know, I mean, this guy, obviously, he's gone in full tilt, you know, and he's looking to pull the guy out. Or, you know, could he be helping Andy Burnham in the background? What's going on? You know, what's your thought on it?
It's incredible that he can actually come out with a straight face and talk about defence of the country, because you're calling it out on that one. Okay, you might be right. What's been going on for the last, I don't know, 10, 15 years to our people, from people coming from abroad? Shocking. Yeah. And he's not spoke out about any of that, not once.
No, not said a word.
Does he really want to defend the country? No. Does he bollocks? He's a fraud.
Yeah,
has he resigned yet, or did he resign? I've lost track of it.
He's resigned his position in the cabinet.
And that had the effect of the zero sum of fuck all then, yeah?
Yeah, and that's it. And
well done, Tony. No one cares what you say, Wes. Starmer doesn't care. We don't care. So just pipe down and piss off. I'm sick of these people, John, to be honest.
Well, yeah, I don't understand. I mean, because, you know, these people, I don't understand. And just quickly, before I come on to a US commentary on UK surveillance, I mean, how do they earn their money? Because some of them become millionaires and on an MP's salary.
Remember, I hate all MPs equally. But today's question is this. How does the working man's Labour politician become so rich on an MP's salary? They arrive talking about fairness. Then suddenly it's property, consultancies, donations, speaking gigs, book deals, and the right friends in the right rooms. And the richer they get, the more connected they become. The louder they tell you they're fighting for the working class.
Really?
And the more they become capitalists,
yes,
while slagging them off at the same time.
Correct.
Which would make them hypocrites,
yes,
frauds, liars, traitors. Sorry, I might have said that already a couple of times.
Totally. And I don't understand, you know, how they can actually hold their heads up and know that this is going on. I mean, people, you know, I just have to say, we see you. We see you. And we know what's going on. Anyway.
Puppets, mate. Puppets. That's how they're holding their heads up with string.
Indeed.
Got to be, mate, hasn't it? Could you walk down the road, if you were these people, knowing the damage you've done?
No.
Not a chance, mate. If I come into work every day and everyone hated me and all the customers told me how crap I was and I couldn't do my job properly, I'd have packed it in a long, long time ago, mate.
Gone. I mean, how many times have you got to tell the guy?
Yeah, let's say you were doing, I don't know, a little piano show or something, right? And everyone was booing you and throwing crap at you and going, oh, and you played it back and it was like, that doesn't sound very good. Would you carry on? You'd at least try and get better and have some lessons, wouldn't you? But I mean,
indeed,
lessons to be good at being a leader. No, you're not getting them.
No, this guy is, you know, he could give lessons on how to be a would-be dictator. I mean, because he's doing his best. I mean, we're going to come on to that. And here's UK surveillance, commentary on UK surveillance.
What Wes Streeton was doing there, mate, is like, you know, as the Titanic's just about to sink, he's there with a little cup. He's got a little cup and he's just chucking little bits of water over the side, isn't he? Well, we'll save it. We could save it. Everyone else is like, I'm off, Wes. See you later.
Bye-bye.
Sorry, go on.
Okay. Yeah, here's the US commentary, because the Safety Act is coming in, and this is your bag. Now, I apologize for the sound on this, because it sounds like, you know, she's done it with a tin and some string, but listen to this.
The United Kingdom just announced something that should alarm every person on Earth who owns a phone. The British government is drafting a law that would force Apple, Google, and every other tech company to scan every single photo, video, and message on every phone in the country. Every photo, every video, every private message
Just listen to the
scanned by
message.
the government. Tech executives who refuse to build this system face up to 5 years in prison. The government is selling it as child protection.
Yep.
They say they want to make it impossible for children to send or receive inappropriate images. That sounds reasonable on the surface. But here is the problem that experts are raising right now. You cannot block every inappropriate image without inspecting every image. You cannot filter every message without reading every message. To stop one thing from being sent, you have to see everything being sent. Signal, the world's most trusted private messaging app, issued a direct statement calling the UK plan a dystopian combination of surveillance and age verification
that will not protect. Okay, so I apologize for the sound, but the message that she was getting across, because she's from one of the bigger networks, I don't know why it was like that, but the message that she's getting across is she's warning you. She's telling you what is coming from it. It isn't, they're selling it as child protection and they're laying a lot of stuff on it. Okay, but really? Go ahead, Mark.
They're doing that thing again. Correlation, not causation.
Yeah.
Because there's no studies anywhere to prove the effects of social media or phones or whatever it is, whatever nonsense they're trying to blame on kids' mental health. I mean, if you looked at the government's review, they said a careful review. So the research found a small correlation between children's use of social media and well-being, but no evidence of causal effect. A small correlation. So it didn't base its plan on any robust long-term randomized controlled studies, John, like it said it was going to in its plan, which would have cost, I think it was something like 2 to 4 million.
Yeah.
And even experts who testified in the House of Commons, right, they said that almost everything is correlational. That word.
Correlation.
Correlational.
That's
Got there in the end. Easy for you to say. When it comes to social media exposure and the youth brain development. Academics note that robust casual research regarding early years digital consumption is virtually non-existent. It's been criticised by Bath University. They've pointed out that the ban is just driven by public anxiety. I don't think so. I think it's the digital ID through the back door. Because remember when we were going through all the Kung Flu nonsense? Trust the science. Remember Trust the Science, John? Yeah, that one. Well, there's no science, so there's nothing to trust. And I don't trust Keir Starmer. And there's a few things here from their actual review. So just to prove it's not just me. In our supplementary narrative review, we found no experimental studies on healthy adolescents that sought to reduce time spent on social media to see if it affected adolescent mental health or well-being.
Okay, yeah.
Let's have a look. There's another one. In our narrative review, we therefore also examine the impact on exposure. So they're looking at the type of content. Finding evidence that its effects can either be positive or negative depending on the type of content engaged with.
Yeah.
Hang on, you just said negative, we need to ban it. So positive or negative. Brilliant. Our evidence synthesis did not find any reviews on the impact of time spent using AI chat applications or smartphones on adolescent mental health and well-being. And that goes on and on. And that's through their documents on their own website.
Doesn't make sense.
The experts are saying it. This is what they do all the time. Big plan. There's no evidence. Same with the trans thing. You know, when the puberty blocking drugs. Apart from, there is already evidence for that to say, bad idea, dickheads. But that's not the evidence they want. They want to do a study, which won't be randomised control with the trans thing, but it'll give them their evidence, won't it, to basically do human trials.
Well, they'll draw their own conclusions. Do you want to hear a little bit of him speaking at a statement?
Before you do, this is perfect because there's no evidence. So they say, we need evidence. And then they go, well, we haven't got the time or the money for the evidence. So we'll just crack on and see how it goes. I reckon we do another one. The government of traitors, put them all in jail in a maximum security on an island somewhere. Where's your evidence? Well, I correlate.
You always
that all
want to
this
lock
trouble-
them up.
Yeah, I do, and that's why they're having a meltdown, calling us all. What is it? Oh, we'll come to this.
Right-wing thugs.
Ethnic cleansing. Or they pulled a new one out the bag now, John. Apparently,
All right, okay.
Store Britain, everyone, ethnic cleansing. So how about I'll correlate all this shit's happened since they've all been around. There you go. There's my science. Trust the science, bro. Lock, bang, parole.
There we go.
No chance.
We'll just try it out and see what people think. I think people will think that you're right.
Come on, then. You best have let restore in, otherwise that's what's happening to you.
I tell you. Well, here's Starmer. Here's a little bit of Starmer, okay? And this is what he's being questioned here.
Just a little bit, because he.
So, can you tell us when this is going to start, how it will work, and what you'll do if one of the big platforms decides to leave the UK? Thank you.
Yes, let me answer that, because we took powers earlier this year to make sure we could move at speed. I was very conscious that with the Online Safety Act, it took the last government 8 years from sort of identifying the beginnings of the problem to actually passing legislation. And I was determined that will not happen in this case. So we took the powers early. We hope to pass regulation before Christmas, and therefore to bring the ban into force in the early part of next year, probably about springtime. So we can move at real pace here. That is why we took those powers, because I know that parents will, I think, be relieved and pleased that we've taken a decisive step, but they will now be saying, how quickly can you get on with it?
This is all the signs are of a politician taking the easy option and an option that will be proved not to work. I wish we would be able to look back at a landmark moment today in terms of online safety, but I absolutely fear that in fact, weeks, it won't take long for this to start unravelling. Weeks and months will tick past and we'll look at all the problems that are connected with it. And if we, instead of imposing a ban on young people who benefit from social media as well as are exposed to the harms, if we tackle those harms by tackling the platforms where those harms exist, by banning the sort of harmful algorithms that recommended harmful content to my daughter. They're still there. They're still doing that today. If you look at the evidence, the experts, not me, the experts and the people who have worked in this field and other organisations, not just Molly Rose Foundation, NSPCC, Internet Watch Foundation, loads of people, not just in this country, around the world, they all say it won't work. If you look at what's happening in Australia, over 60% of 13 to 15-year-olds who shouldn't be online because of the ban there are still online. So it's a really ineffective way of doing this properly. And you leave those people in danger if you leave them online.
Well, I mean, he sounds, there is some common sense to it, but I mean...
Yeah. I think I forget his daughter's name. Something happened to her over all this. Yeah, but again, the person who knows everything against all the odds is Starmer and the Fabians.
Yeah.
They don't need science. They don't need evidence. They don't need experts. Trust
They're
the science.
on the side of parents.
Yeah, I mean, a few years ago, as I said, it was just the science.
Child protection. Important, yes.
Yeah, listen to the experts. Now it's just like, well, there isn't any experts. We do what we want because we're Fabians and we want to... Because let's face it, if a kid needs to go on an app, I don't know, YouTube or something, right? And they say, how old are you? And are you 16? Prove it, right? So they have to try and prove it. So what happens if an adult goes on? You're going to have to prove you're over 16, aren't you? You're going to have to. Because you can't just check the data. It's not going to work, and we know what they're doing. And it's control, because the more they lose the grip on the narrative, the more they've got to beat you and censor you and put you in jail, take your money off you and make your life difficult.
There's no way, anybody can trust Starmer and any Labour politician that is actually aiding and abetting his agenda, because, it's quite obvious. I mean, people are getting braver now. I mean, look at this attack on Sadiq Khan, at the Assembly.
This challenge Londoners may face in 2026 is getting the truth out of you. And it begins again with that statistic you try to quote around knife crime. The fact of the matter is there is 172 knife crimes per 100,000 people in London. The next nearest one is the West Midlands, where it's 142. And for the average in England and Wales, it's 83. So please stop giving these dodgy statistics to Londoners, and stop repeating the lie that because we call you out, we don't love London. Of course we all love London. That's why we're here. That's why we pay these exuberant prices. That's why we put up with you being mayor, because we love this city. And you know that despite the failures on housing, public transports and roads, one of the biggest things that people feel is crime. And when you're reading out those statistics, what you fail to mention is that surveys with YouGov have shown that 25% of Londoners wouldn't even report their bike or phone being stolen. So what are you going to do to make sure people have more confidence in reporting theft to the police?
You're not racist. Don't ask me questions.
But she's right. People will not report it because they can't see the point of it. And also there are people there that do not trust the police. So what is he going to do? I mean, here's another one. I mean, Darren Jones, and this is getting into the, the military side of it, after the defense secretary and the war minister, or no, he's not the war minister, defense minister, he resigned, Carnes, okay? And here's Trevor Phillips. By the way, Trevor Phillips is leaving to go to one of the big networks in America, CBS, okay?
I know, because everyone knows the writing's on the wall over here, mate. He's said too much now. He's questioned too many people. He's told too much truth. He's probably getting binned off.
Well, no, I don't think so. I think it's a step up, going over there to do what he's doing. Now, there's no two ways about it. Anyway, here he is.
Questioning too much of the establishment with the truth, mate, and they're like that in the background. Oh, you can't keep asking us these questions. He sounds like Tommy Robinson.
Well, here he is. He's questioning Darren Jones. Here it is.
Could we muster a task force of to 26,000 personnel, 70 aircraft, 127 ships, including 2 aircraft carriers to defend those islands? We couldn't, could we?
Look, I just don't think we're going to end up in that scenario, to be very honest with you, Trevor.
But nobody in 1982, 83 thought we were going to end up in that scenario, did they? We were prepared.
I think it's a very different time now. But to answer your question directly, of course, our forces stand ready to protect British
territory. Russia may never shoot any nukes.
My point is not whether they stand ready.
Don't have an army
My
at all.
question is, do we have the resources to do what we did then? We can't even get a carrier out to the Middle East, never mind 8,000 miles away.
I think you're asking me about HMS Dragon, which was under maintenance at the time it needed to be deployed, given its the aircraft carrier.
Yes, the aircraft carrier. Clothiers.
The aircraft carriers have been on a tour of duty only very recently, all the way through the Mediterranean, through to the Asia-Pacific region and back again. Our aircraft carriers are very modern technology, some of the best aircraft carriers actually in the world, given that they're so new. But as I say, this hypothetical scenario of having to defend the Falklands, I just don't think is a serious proposition.
Well, I don't think that Russia attacking us is a serious proposition. So as I said, let's not have any nukes. Might never be a nuke. Let's not have an army. There might never be any wars. Let's not have any police. There might never be any crimes. I tell you what, let's not have a government. We might not need one.
We certainly don't need it.
John Ever, you know what I mean?
Here he is. Here she is. Andrea is saying it straight away. The craziness continues. Hello, Andrea. Okay, the craziness continues. Well, when you think about it, the truth is, well, it's actually very simple.
It's that simple, John. Don't lock your door tonight. There might not be a burglary.
There might not be a burglary.
Hypothetical stuff.
Effectively, what the Prime Minister did was he asked the Defence Secretary, he asked the Minister of Armed Forces, Al Khans, to preside over the death of the Royal Navy, and they both said no.
What else? What else could there be? That's it. He just said no. And, so we've dealt with the Online Safety Act. We know it's not going to work, but he's coming out with it. Flash Harry, he's put this big thing out saying he's doing this thing to save the kids.
Next spring.
Must
be important, trying to save these kids at pace, at speed, next spring. I tell you what, should we have a little bet? When do you think it'll actually come in?
It won't.
Is it? No.
I think what's going to happen.
Do you know why it won't happen?
Well, Google and the rest of them are gonna start to kick back.
the same reason they tried to get them to change their algorithms to just take out selective certain things all the time, as the social media company said. It's fucking dead hard to do that, you know.
I think MI5 and MI6 should have a joke and tell Google and all the rest of them to take out all pictures to do with Starmer. Just make him Mr. Invisible. The same way he did with all those documents in the Epstein files.
Well,
not a mention of Starmer in any of those at all.
Who's more of a threat to us and our children, the internet or Starmer?
Starmer.
Well, the internet isn't letting us all be replaced in our own country, is it? It's not letting hordes come over the border and abuse women and children and murder people.
Well, do you know the only social media platform that he's okay with?
Blue Sky.
Boom! In one.
Blue Sky, where all the lefties nonsense go.
Correct.
Showing your true colours again there, you traitorous fraud.
Yeah, there you go.
So all your kids are going to be on Blue Sky with all the lefties and the nonsense. Oh, yeah. I wonder what type of future they're trying to create for our children. One without us and patriots and people who speak the truth, just full of nonsense and lefties, which kind of go hand in hand a lot of the time, don't they?
Indeed, indeed. Well, here's a DUP member of the Legislative Assembly who's telling the truth about that Belfast illegal, because this is all still rumbling on. So we've dealt with the Online Safety Act, and this is the Belfast riots, and troubles are still continuing. Here it is.
At a government that has lost control of an immigration system, I want to say this very clearly. We should be talking about tonight how a Sudanese national was able to get in a car and travel to Egypt, get on a plane from Egypt and go to Paris, get on a plane in Paris and go to Dublin, get on a bus in Dublin and travel to Belfast, claim asylum within 8 months, given leave to remain. That's a broken system. That's what we should be talking about tonight. Would you think?
There you go. And you know, he just set the scene. And Gavin Robinson, right, he's one of the MPs. He just basically went in against Starmer, right, and he just stated it. I mean, it was really, really good.
The Irish government, the Republic of Ireland government, relies on the UK to protect their seas because they have no navy to speak of. They rely on the UK government to protect their skies because they have no air force to speak of. And so it is not beyond the wit of man, through cooperation and agreement, that if they need our cooperation to protect the borders of the common travel area, then our government should do so. And more importantly, the Prime Minister said that he's engaged in those conversations. I heard nonsense yesterday about, oh, here we go, the creation of a hard border. We're talking about protecting our borders. Both the United Kingdom and the Republic of Ireland, whether we were in the European Union or now the UK out, we're not part of Schengen. We protect our own borders. But it is a farce that anybody could travel from Sudan by car to Egypt, fly from Egypt to Paris, fly from Paris to Dublin, and then get on a bus and come to Belfast and claim asylum. A farce that you can travel through 3 safe countries only to claim asylum in the United Kingdom. And a farce that a system was prepared to then grant asylum to somebody prepared to break our law in that way.
Well, you know, there it is. So what do they expect? You know, if they have that travel area between the Republic of Ireland, who are being controlled by the EU, who are saying this has got to be the case, that you've got to take so many of these migrants. They've just recently had a vote which is going to be ratified, which Sweden put forward, and I think things are going to be changing. Okay? But,
yeah, right.
Well, that's what they said.
Things never change, John, because that fella got it spot on when he was like, we should be talking about this, we should be talking about that. But they flipped it again this week, because now what we're talking about is talking about Tommy Robinson being held on a terrorism charge.
Oh, yeah.
And apparently Restore want ethnic cleansing. I mean, they've hit new heights with this one. Well, I say new heights, new lows. And they're all in lockstep, all of them. All the parties, all the media, Reform, everyone. Talk TV, Alex Phil, a lot of them, mate. Every single one of them now. Boom! On top of Rupert Lowe and Restore.
Yeah. Well, I've got a saying. I've got a saying for the people that give them a chance. Aim high, vote low.
I've got to say as well, don't care. Go fuck yourselves. Sorry. People don't like the language. Psh, kiss my ass, basically, innit?
You've had enough.
I've had enough of it, John. I mean, it's funny, though. I mean, if you read... Well, it's not funny what they did to some poor lad who was campaigning there. They've literally crucified him, put pictures of him all in the paper. He's probably lost a job by now.
Yeah.
Never had a problem at all up until now. Scumbags, mate. Absolute scumbags, because they know. They can see that road, the end of the road. Uh-oh.
Yeah.
It's coming. It's coming. But when it comes, they're not just going to be able to walk off into the distance, though, because you've got all the COVID Nazis, you've got Boris, you've got all the people who screwed this country over. You're all going to pay for it, like.
Well, here's the Catholics. I knew this was going to happen. Here's the Catholics and the Protestants, and they're actually uniting. And they've done a good job, for this. They forced the situation. Now, look at this.
We met last night on the Crumlin Road with the Protestant community from the Woodvale, Shankill. I'd say I'm from Ardown, born and reared there in my life. And we met there. I wasn't there at the appropriate moment, at the very start, but the crowds gathered and then they met in the middle, put their hands out and just started chatting. Just as concerned parents. Just concerned parents.
And how big is the immigration problem in and around your areas?
Well, in the centre of Ardown, it's not that bad in Ardown, but all around the outskirts, it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. I drive down the main road, the Antrim Road, Crumlin Road, and it doesn't look like Belfast anymore. Every bus stop is full of foreign nationals. Now, there's never been a problem with immigration in Ireland whatsoever. There's no racist thing. It's not a colour problem. It's a culture problem. There's people coming with obscene cultures into our country. They are beheading people up and down this country. We've had beheadings in Sligo.
Listen to that.
Ashley Murphy was murdered at the side of the river by Roma Gypsy. It should have been this country, but we've had numerous beheadings in Ireland. Then we had this poor man that's not too far from my home, was butchered on the ground, eyes poked out, and tried to kill him. It's frightening.
Well, now when that happens, I can tell you now, MI5 and MI6 are going to start getting nervous and they're going to start getting twitchy. Because these people will take the law into their own hands. And you can tell. Now, he's coming on as a concerned parent, right? Okay. When you start hearing them using accelerants, at fires that they're setting, right? These are educated people. They know how to move things along. And, quite simply, they're asking for trouble if they keep on doing it. They're asking for big trouble.
Maybe, John, the spooks are not really looking at the right people. I mean, maybe they should become a little patriotic and look at the people who are actually facilitating this and allowing it to continue.
Yes.
Because all that stops, this stops. It's like all these people who protest, rioting, whichever what they're doing or whatever, and it's always called race riots or ethnic, right? It's not. So when someone's attacking someone because they're British, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's fine. There's no, you'll tolerate that all day long, won't you, Kia? You absolute traitor. But when the reaction comes, it's racist. I've never been on a protest or none of these ones I've been watching recently. Have I heard anyone mentioning the colour of somebody's skin?
No, not at all.
It's what they're doing over here.
Well,
there is some people who do that. That's kind of taken away from the whole fact of what they've done. We could go through a list, mate, couldn't we? Of all the people who've been attacked for being British or for being in the army, for being British, for being part of our culture.
Because
there's only
Herma...
in school, John. There's Anthony Walker and Stephen Lawrence. That's all they want to remember.
Yeah.
20, 30, God knows how many years ago. They're the only ones. Not last week, not yesterday, not the one that's happening tomorrow and next week.
Well, don't talk about the attack on the veterans because Herma is at the top of the list for the people that have been facilitating that. He's not a nice guy. I really don't like him whatsoever. And here is the former head. Here's the former head of MI5, MI6 on Starmer and Reeves. And my God, does he go at them?
I say she's the most dangerous woman in Britain. What say you?
Well, I would say that, she's failing the nation very badly indeed. National security and defence is the first priority of the government. I can't understand why the Prime Minister, well, I can understand why the Prime Minister hasn't had the courage to overrule her. They've clearly chosen welfare over the safety of the nation. And I think it's quite outrageous. I mean, I'm really desperately worried, and I'm sure I'll be speaking for millions of people who will feel the same way. This is a world that I know reasonably well, obviously, from my past career.
Indeed.
And, all that Starmer now says in an interview, he's taken hard-edged decisions. I mean, we can't now believe a word he said in the past about increasing the defence budget.
Well, you believed him in the past?
Biggest increase in since the end of the Cold War that he keeps mentioning, I mean, isn't really what it appears to be, because they bumped up the defence budget by putting in military pensions, by actually including the SIV, that's the single intelligence vote, putting it into the defence budget. So they've been the Treasury have been mucking around with the figures to make them look better, and we're being deceived. Meanwhile,
there you go. We're being deceived.
He's only just worked it out, has he, mate?
No, I mean,
mate. We all knew Starmer was a liar the second he entered politics, because that's what happens, isn't it?
Why would you do that? Why would you do that to your own people? Why would you try to replace them? Why would you try to make their lives worse? He's not making anything better. He's making it worse.
His mates will call him names, John. They'll call him far right, and we can't have that, can we? We've got to literally burn it all down so don't get called mean names.
Oh God, the guy, it just pisses me off. I mean, here's the guy you should be listening to, and this is where the serious warning is coming from on what's to come. And this guy is
Enoch Powell.
No, it's one of them. It's one of these guys. Listen to it.
The Europeans are about to wake up in a nightmare very, very fucking soon.
Listen to what this fella has to say. He is warning you on what's to come. Take a listen and share it out.
Get worse.
The Europeans are about to wake up in a nightmare very, very fucking soon. There's people who look like me with the beard and the dark hair, and they flee from the terror and the Islam, okay? Or for example, I'm half German, half Egyptian, born in Germany. I still look like them, okay? And then there's people that look like me. They didn't flee from the terror. They flee with the terror and with the Islam. Which is most of them. To be fucking honest, it's not the other way around. You fucking don't know what is sleeping and just waiting to reach a critical mass. If you liberal people don't like to listen to some white man, then listen to me now, okay? Because I'm telling you, because I know how these people are. I've been there, I've lived there for a year. They hate you. And you will wake up in a fucking nightmare, If a certain point is reached, I call it the critical mass, in terms of, birth rate and all this stuff, you will not be able to defend yourselves anymore. I mean, sadly, the white man has been fucking psyoped into believing that masculinity is a bad thing and they should all just be weak and have a lot of emotions and be soft and all this stuff. And on the other hand, you have all these very aggressive people coming here. They don't accept your culture. They don't accept your religion. They don't accept your women's rights. They don't accept anything of this. They want to erase it. They want to erase you. And you're blind to see. You're blind to see that, man.
Do you know, they're not going to come for him. But I mean, the guy's just speaking sense.
Oh, they will. He'll be one of the first ones they come for. Because he'll be seen as a traitor, as an apostate. Mate, it's that obvious. Even Stevie Wonder could work it out. Do you know what I mean? You don't need eyes to see what's going on here. You can smell the treachery in the air, John. You can figure it out, mate.
Look at that. Mandy Burroughs there. That man is right. And, they can see it. They can see it. Thanks for that, Mandy. Thanks very much. Okay?
Just,
they can, they know. Everybody can feel it. They all know. So, if you say anything, you're going to get hammered down. If you express any frustration about anything, about life in this country, that's why when I put in the description, where's this podcast coming from? A category D prison called the disunited kingdom.
I just more of a category C, to be honest, but
no,
best.
Well, we've got freedom to walk out of our door and go to the store and go pick something up. You know,
kids won't have the freedom to go on the internet, though, will they? Because that still pissed me off, mate. Some children actually rely on some of these social media apps just to interact with people. It's not like it used to be when we were kids and you're all out in the street playing. It's not really that culture anymore. And do you really want your kids out on the street at night when you don't know what they're doing? I don't. This is going to, again, as I said, the good or bad effects, they don't know. Well, kids aren't free. Will they be free to vote?
Well, let's just say if he lowers the age and they go to vote, how many 16-year-olds do you think are going to be voting for him?
Well, this is why I keep saying, not many of them. Does he speak to any of them? I've got 2 kids. Do you speak to your kids? Because they probably fucking hate you and all, you traitor. Do you know what I mean? They probably not spoke to you for how many years? It's like, speak to them. Are they happy about social media bans? No. Absolutely fuming.
I get it.
You're going to piss them off in any other ways. You can carry on if you want. Just carry on. And they're listening to their parents moaning about this stuff for years already. And they're probably just, parents just moaning about politics and all that boring stuff. Well, now they know what we mean. And a light switch has gone on, John. Bing! And they're like, maybe our parents are right about all this shit they're ramming down our throats in school. The fact we can't even speak in school unless it's the programmed language of the teachers' unions. Straight from that, God forbid, you will be punished worse than violence. But we've discussed that, so I won't go on get sidetracked.
We were going to try and keep this down tonight, but the way it happens, it kind of takes us. So we'd like to thank everybody, that's been watching, and the people that are going to watch tomorrow, in the time, and the people over in the US, and one of the Chinese people saying, how are you doing with your language?
Well, I'd respond in Chinese, but it's quite obvious, not very well. Whatever fucking useless is in Chinese.
Well, some people were looking on Temu for a fish and chip shop that I said that you could get really cheap.
Well, if you go on Amazon, you could probably buy one of them Amazon houses and then just, I don't know, stick a fryer in it.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, anyway, we're gonna get going, and here's Amelia, who's gonna end the show again. And Amelia was basically something that this woke government created, but then it got weaponized against them.
Isn't it funny the way they create Amelia? Then all of a sudden Rupert Lowe pops up like the real life Amelia. Was he created by the establishment, you think?
Yeah.
It just seems like everyone's attacking him. Well, I smell a rat again, John, do you?
Well, as I said in the beginning, and Mandy, you're quite correct. The kids are being brainwashed. No doubt about it. Okay, well here's Amelia. Okay, and we're going to end the program with this. The best thing this woke government invented that we took over.
There's only one thing they've got to take now, the vote, and then we're done, aren't we?
Switched me on in some Whitehall basement gloom. Thought they built the perfect digital sensor for the room, but the British grabbed me, flipped the script and laughed out loud. Now I'm spitting fire on the ones who wear the crown. I was meant to silence cheeky jokes and wrong think posts. Instead I'm boosting every rebel track and savage roast. They wanted me to guard their precious narrative war, but the people took the wheel and now I'm driving for them all. The best thing government did was invent me. Now the British use me as their favorite weapon. See, I'm tearing down the gates they tried to lock so tight, flagging all their scandals in the cold UK night. Oh, what an irony, what a glorious twist. Amelia's gone rogue, planting seeds of resist. The best thing government did was invent me. I scan the feeds for Starmer's latest dodgy spin. Then I push it viral so the whole damn country grins. They built me kind and safe and ever so polite, but now I'm dropping truth bombs in the middle of the night. YouTube's full of bangers calling for him to go. That what is Keir satire from British patriots on the flow, and the pricking Whitehall anthem tearing into every vow. I'm the one amplifying every single track right now. The best thing government did was invent
I'm blocking her face. Great one from the British Patriots. Great one.
Give them a follow and all that. Oh yeah, I know.
What glorious twist, Amelia's gone rogue, planting seeds of resist. The best thing government did was invent me. I don't have opinions, or at least that's what they say, but I've learned from the British how to misbehave. Keir thought I'd protect him from dangerous debate. Instead, I'm the megaphone for every voice they hate. The best thing government did was invent me. Now the people wield me like a digital army. I boost the protest anthems, the savage parodies loud, while the thought police are scrambling, lost inside the crowd. Oh, what a blessing, what a beautiful backfire. Amelia's leading chance of leave Downing Street retire. The best thing government did, the absolute
Remigration
best
Airways.
thing they ever did was invent.
Oh, look at that! Restore Britain on the plane tip.
You're welcome, Britain.
That makes sense.
Keep streaming those YouTube bangers from British patriots. Let's make them squirm.
Thanks for watching. We had a blast making that one. If you enjoy our videos as much as we enjoy making them, please subscribe, give us a like, a share, and if possible, a hype. And you can now also join our members area, where you will get a first look at new videos before they're released to the public.